Do you sometimes feel like you're automated to scroll on your phone on break? Or like in public you feel uncomfortable and you feel weird in amongst everyone? Or maybe even like you pull out your headphones automatically when you get on the train? I don't doubt for a fact that the first thing you do in discomfort is scroll or go on the phone. It is the damn phone! I'm telling you, it is the damn phone! But I'm not going to be harassing you like your grandma today. This has been something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. And I might on the channel talk a lot about health and mental health and but I feel like I never give myself a minute, like a proper second where I can rest. And I think that's a testament to a lot of how people feel now in this day and age, regardless of generation anymore. I feel like it's all kind of intermixed into a mixed bag. I mean, you can see that across any social media circle at this current time. I feel like it's the most obvious thing at this point on TikTok. Everyone has like a soapbox, but I think it's plagued everything. And I don't think people kind of take it the way that they're supposed to. Trends are killing our brains, and I'm not the first person to say this, and I won't be the last. I just don't think we actually understand how our brains motivate the systems in our cogs, in our blood, in our body, in our hard bones. Wild horses running through your hard bones. It's our brain is provoking us constantly to choose to live. Our body goes into flight or fight mode anytime something bad happens, because our body's first and formal program is to live. And now everything in the landscape of philosophy, belief systems, religious freedoms, political freedoms is all kind of cleared up and kind of into a harsh light, I would say. It's under a big bright light where it's like no amount of Hollywood filtering can take away that wrinkle that on your forehead because you're worried about what the state of the world is going to be like. More so, trends are killing us. It's not fair to just label it all as social media. It's trends.
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
I have the one and only 24 karat gold Labubu.
I would say that I find a lot more people online that are unable to focus and are like very anxious, and people get really stuck in it. And then I see another side of the conversation where it's like, no, it's all mental health. It's health. I go to gym, I do Pilates, I do this and this and this and that, and I've got a boss bitch girl body. But you wouldn't be here if it wasn't a trend, because it is everywhere. Trends are literally how memes come into cycles. Like, you can't say that, oh yeah, I wouldn't have had that sad girl era Tumblr moment where I constantly talked about how I was depressed online and that no one likes me, and that I'm also a little bit of a pick-me girl. You can't say that doesn't resonate from trends in that time. And trends now are saying be more healthy, be more individualist, be da-da-da-da-da. I think people are going healthy for the wrong reasons, because it's not actually because they want to and their path aligns with it. It's because they want to be perceived as that way, because then they have a little bit of superiority, or maybe even they just feel more aligned with the media that they consume. Don't get me wrong, relatability and convenience breeds community, and it brings awareness, and that's why you see on TikTok everywhere is like, oh, I'm healing my da-da-da-da-da-da. But it also breeds addiction and self-indulgence and comfort. If all those things aren't balanced, and as humans we are fundamentally terrible at balancing things, then of course it's gonna fall apart. You can see this everywhere. It's everywhere. I'll provide some videos right now.
Here's how scrolling on your phone all day can affect your brain. When you stare at a screen all day, it doesn't just tire your eyes out. It also messes with the chemicals in your brain that controls focus and mood. Every time you scroll, click, or swipe, your brain releases a small burst of dopamine, which is the feel-good chemical that rewards you for things that feel satisfying. The problem is the constant stream of notifications, videos, and updates flood your brain with dopamine over and over again. This makes your brain crave quick, easy rewards, and over time, it becomes harder to focus on slower, more demanding tasks like reading or problem solving.
Overstimulation, not in the sense of walking into a room and there's too much going on. Overstimulation in the sense of, oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna sit down, scroll TikTok. Okay, close TikTok, open up Instagram, and going through that constant cycle.
Yeah, it's really hard to live nowadays, and I can pull up all the statistics of people being depressed, people just spending time on social media more, this and that. I could do that forever. I could pull up every statistic if I could, but also, I just want to focus on my main points today, or I will go into tangents, and I love lists. So if you give me a statistical list, I will eat it up. So I remain. Honestly, I never really understood anxiety from a level where it's no reason, or like I've never really even put into question stimulation in itself. So I just kind of never understood the conversation around that. But only till recently, where I recently discovered within these last 4 months that I've had this ginormous anxiety in my chest. And I'm like, I've been questioning myself, and I'm like, why do I feel like this way? When I started going to like therapy again, and I started to do this thing with him it's like make a silly voice with the voice that you hear that is being mean to you, and try to redirect all that priority that you give to those mean voices or negative thoughts, and move it away. And then as I started doing that, my brain got so quiet, and I didn't realize. I was like, oh, this is a good thing, until I was hit like the next day, and I was like, oh my god, I don't actually have anything to think of, because all I've been doing is worrying and being in this moment. And yeah, I've been decompartmentalizing everything and doing good things, but now I don't have anything to worry about. And that freaked me out. And for the first time, I think, in a long time, I found a way to actively silence those thoughts for myself. And I've always been like, oh, people that say that you can just turn off the voices in your head and turn off the negative stuff in your head is so fucking stupid. This, and that. But I've gone to a point where I can actually just move the image away. Anyways, so my brain went quiet. What the fuck? What the fuck? And I think I'd rather have all that worrying and all that existential, this over what I feel now, which I felt this whole new feeling of anxiety that I've never felt before in my chest. And I was like, oh my God, this is worse. The silence is worse. And I was so scared, and it's the worst feeling. It's probably worst feeling that I get before a panic attack. And I got so scared of it that I did what any normal person would do. I ran to the most convenient and most comfortable and reliable thing that can make me feel distracted. TikTok. And I indulged. Of course, why wouldn't you? It's the perfect amount of trend cycles of what's going on. You get a summarized little overview of the news, so you're not out of the loop. You even get the meme of the day. Which is something different every week now. And you indulge in it. You stay in it because the other path is fucking so much worse. Then I realized 3 months have passed. And I've lost so much time because of this fear. And that's kind of what shook me. And I think that's what's shaking a lot of people right now. And I got really mad. I was like, what the hell has happened to my 3 months? What the Sigma? And then I thought about billionaires, and I was thinking, like, billionaires, they, like, own so many platforms. Duh. But I was watching TikTok, and I was thinking about the genetics of TikTok, and I was like, oh, a billionaire owns TikTok. And then I was thinking about how billionaires want you to believe that positive stimulation is constant intake of processing information and processing the next amount of stimuli that you can get that can reach that dopamine rush. They think that's the most positive stimulation that you can receive. In reality, the most positive stimulation that you could receive is doing action with the information that you have, because it's not terrible to gather information, but of course a billionaire, the reason they're a billionaire is because they have built and made action from the information they have received. They're not just intaking all this information. They just want you to stay docile, to keep consuming their content, because it's what is benefiting them. Billionaires lie. Next you're gonna tell me the government doesn't like me and it just wants to suck me dry. But not in that way. I hate to be like a finance bro, because this is like I feel like this is like the main point and like the most obvious point that everybody likes to make, but I don't care. Time is currency. Time is currency. And essentially, when you invest your time into something, it's finance, bro, economics. When you put your time into something, you're basically exchanging hours of your life that you don't actually really attribute to yourself, that is hours of your existence in something. Like, you are going to die one day. I'm so sorry to bring that dread to you right now, but you are going to die one day. It's something that we kind of glaze over, because why do we have to think about it? Because it just provokes fear, and it's just kind of harmful in a lot of situations, especially in circles where there's like a lot of mental illness and a lot of fear over it. It's just fear mongering at times. But I think it's a great thing to remind ourselves that death is something that is prominent, and exchanging time away for a distraction, away from the silence, away from that lack of stimulation, because if we exchange that time, and then we can equivalent the time that we are existing right now to a moment that we have already lived yesterday or the day before, then it becomes a lot more easier to be transactional with it and just be mindless with it, because you're like, well, I've done it before, I've scrolled before, and then you kind of forget about the fact that time is happening right now, and you're prolonging the journey of discovering in your path to justice and resolution. But it's also like a very valid thing to do. Like, distracting yourself is a very valid thing to do, because now that we've got so much transparency, not really in like the truth, but like in like some logistic things that has transformed the technology and the way that we can communicate answers in scientific terms and in schools and, you know, information exchange. It's easier to kind of understand everything and see everything and be nihilistic about it, because why would I want to think about my existence potentially being meaningless, that I am just an aspect of a bunch of particles that have came together and I'm only here for a short amount of time, and am I making an impact? Will I ever make an impact? Will I probably not make an impact? That's so much. And then I die. That's so much. And how can someone ever feel comfortable in that silence when that's the result that you're getting from the end of all this information that you receive? So of course, when everything feels passing and repetitive, you kind of can attribute it to, well, it's just a day I have to get through. Then you are dialing down the one thing that has value, and that is your time, and that is you. That also helps the billionaires, because you being mindless about your time, kind of putting this in and categorizing into it as, oh, it's happening anyways, and I've experienced it, and I don't care, is like a mindless action, because it saves you from discomfort, it saves you from that. So then it's a built-in mechanism to grab your phone and scroll and like look at aimlessly on your phone for like that 30-minute break at work, and you see someone that you like to talk to at like a function, but you decide that you're actually feeling that anxiety and you don't want to feel that action, so you go to the bathroom and you scroll for an hour in your drunken state. It's really hard. It's actually really hard, and no one talks about it. It's an addiction. Like, social media has proved time and time again that it's addiction, and it's experiments that has been put under work to make sure that you like your algorithm, that your time is on this app is curated for your politics, your ideation in the world, your style, how you think, how you dress, how you talk. You know how like fast food McDonald's has like a bunch of scientists in a lab. Like, do you remember Breaking Bad? Oh, who doesn't remember Breaking Bad? How there's a bunch of scientists in the lab like testing out sauces and like making sure that there's enough salt or enough sugar to increase that dopamine to leave you wanting more. There's people like that just in technology. They're doing this so they can make sure that you are under their radar at all times, because when you're consuming it, you will eventually buy the products on there, and you are a product. I feel like I get too capitalistic, angry, and then I have to like interject and put myself down to reality. When you start to like finally see how stimulation has crept over into every aspect, and how you're literally ran by stimulation, constant stimulation of talking, of interacting, of scrolling, of being on your phone, you kind of feel like it's parasitical, you know, like it's caved over into so many aspects. It feels so big when you finally take everything in. You're like, oh yeah, I do take the bus, and I do just wear my headphones, and even if I'm annoyed, I will wear my headphones. Even if it's too tight on my head, I wear my headphones and I listen to something. Even if I have a headache, I put my music on as soon as I start driving. If I'm walking somewhere, I put my headphones on. I'm driving with my friend. The music's still in the back. I'm with my partner in bed. We're scrolling. We're not talking. I'm watching a TV show, and then I'm also having a Minecraft screen, and I'm also listening to like a book read, all at the same time. And then I'm also looking at social media in the middle of it.
He's just always in his own world. He really quiet for real.
And I still feel unfulfilled, and I still feel hungry for more. It's sickening. It's designed to overwhelm all your senses, all your span of your sight. That's why when you log into YouTube or you log into Netflix and you go for a little scroll on what I can watch and what I can preoccupy my time with, is it just me, or do I get overwhelmed just by looking at all the pictures, looking at all the content? Because it is like the most genuine form of what it is, like what it is trying to display. It's literally saying, I'm marketing, this is the poster, and I have to cater to you, so I can use the most outlandish colors, the most attention-grabbing, controversial, big reaction shot photo, and with the title. And that's the only part when it feels like it's being genuine. And when it's being genuine about its intent, you want to get out of it. If I'm not watching a video and I'm scrolling and I'm looking at all the videos, I just think, this is not worth it. Like, 'cause it feels so in your face. And they want you to be subtle about it. Because if you're subtle about it, then you have gravitated to something that is spawned from comfort. And now it's something that you do so mindlessly. It's like pulling at your hair when you're nervous, or like, you know, biting your fingernails. It's mindless, and it's only something to do to comfort yourself. and not go out in a certain way. It's really great for people who have autism and people who are very socially not interactive. But also it's terrible for the other, because I feel like people don't know how to talk to each other nowadays. I always see people online talking about how like everything is online and everything is on dating websites and everything is curated to online presence. And I always hear like the argument, which is like, well, no one meets each other on the street nowadays. And I hate this how I sound. I hate how I sound. I hate that I sound like, well, back in my day, because back in my day, I'm still living in this is my generation I'm speaking for. I'm representing y'all right now. Y'all right now. And to be honest, you won't meet someone in public. And you'll probably meet someone at a bar, because that's the only time you have your headphones off. If you want to be spontaneous, you got to be okay with being in silence and accepting that some things aren't going to be stimulating all the time. And if you are stimulated all the time, you're literally putting yourself and your whole body on defensive mode, and you're putting yourself to a brink where you can't submerge yourself in. Because if you put yourself constantly in that state, you're going to eventually run out of those good endorphins and run towards anxiety or fear or anger, and it's just going to feel so much more intense down the track. It's not sustainable, but we're making it sustainable for our lives because it's slowly integrated into our lives mindlessly. Like, people are more unsociable, people are more disconnected, people are more angry, more irritable. Even on the road, people have this disconnect from each other now. And I feel like I get into a lot more road rage incidences where they go off at me and I go off at them, because like there's such a disconnect now. Things can be painted so clearly. And like someone can make a take online and be like, "Oh, I fucking hate everyone." And then you'll hear that and you're like, okay, yeah, I fucking hate everyone too. But then you put everyone in that blanket. TikTok does that a lot. It puts everything in the blanket. And then you feel so comfortable and seen, and like, because you're like, oh, no one says that. Oh, no one says that. But then like, when you apply it to your life now, it's just very like black and white to something that's so diverse and so rainbow colored, gay. It's so different, you know. Like, you can't apply like these things to your life. I mean, like, if you applied every TikTok knowledge to your life, all those TikTok couples that like the girlfriend posts something horrible, and then the comments always like, break up with them, then every one of them would break up. And you know what, sometimes the comments are crazy, but sometimes the comments are on par. But also, people are versatile and different, and every situation is very different from the next. Like, as much as everyone wants to be nihilistic and paint everything and be like, oh, everything sucks, everything's inevitable. No! That feels so small-minded to do that. Life in itself is so overwhelming. It's annoying that sometimes we can't just paint something black and white, because it's so complex, and there's a lot of different social roles in it, and a lot of moral roles in it, and also a lot of characteristics about your personhood and the other person, because everything is extraordinary because we have no idea why it's here. So it's really overwhelming, and that's also another thing that I hate everyone about. Oh, look at me doing the same thing. No one really understands how we downplay a lot of things in order to get through the day. We have to downplay a lot of aspects to not feel so overwhelmed. That's why we downplay death, and we even, this will be for another video, but like, we even censor the word death, because I understand that it's triggering, and I understand that there's a lot of fear in it. I mean, when I was little, I used to have so many panic attacks that would send me to hospital, and I would have to be on like a ventilator from my panic attacks, because I was afraid of death so much. I would just shut down. So I understand that. But the censorship of it, and the running away and barricading your doors and running away, it's the worst thing to do. It's the worst thing to do. Life is stressful in itself. How can you add like another 18 hours of screen time on top of your like essential stuff, like your chores, your friendship dynamics, your uni life or your work life, and your partner, and the fucking dog you take care of that shits on your fucking bed, or like these other things that are really essential. And then there's those fun things, those dream-like things. I want to be this when I'm older. I want to travel the world. How are you supposed to get just this done when 18 hours to like 6 hours, 8 hours? Sorry, 18 hours is crazy, but the average screen time is like 6 to 8 hours. That's still a lot. And we are awake for like, 15 hours, 16 hours out of the day. It makes life so much harder to live with adding that extra thing onto it. But also, when you see it, you are shocked. You're like completely like wordless. You're like, oh, how is that? Because it's not like you clock in and clock out like work. You can't just total the hours all together and be like, 7 hours of work. You mindlessly do it. You mindlessly go on there. You mindlessly check the time. You kind of like look for things. You delete emails. You reply back to messages. You don't reply back to messages. You look at messages that you want to reply back to, but you have no mental capacity to reply back to. You do all these things. Even if you don't even want to look at your phone, but you're excessively looking at your phone and looking at your time, you are hoping for a notification, or you're hoping for something to pop up to feel productive, to feel engaging, and to feel stimulating, so you can at least feel that little amount of comfort, little amount of distraction from the silence. And the silence isn't bad. I used to think that if I was alone and if I was left in silence, that I would run away. Like I was deadly afraid of being alone. And I've always equated to being alone to being unhappy. But silence isn't a bad thing. Silence can help you navigate a lot of aspects. And for me, it's been incredibly scary. And I've gained a new form of anxiety from that silence. But it actually has helped me grow in a lot of aspects and reframed a lot of things that I have been kind of keeping it to the back of my mind, because I've wanted to remain in the distraction, because everything is so fucking scary, and everything is scary. Everything is so scary all the time. And everyone's supposed to ignore it and just like compute trends. And I'm not saying that I'm this magical person that is saying something different. I'm not. I'm just saying that people like to ignore things a lot in order to be able to move on with their day. I'm finding that it's more hurtful in a lot of contexts than the other, When you're in the silence, it's scary and it's really uncomfortable and you just want to run away. I'm trying to sit with it more. I'm still doom scrolling some days. Again, I'm not black and white. I'm making this video, and I'm not someone that completely the whole day I'm like the 40-year-old dad on the airplane, just raw dogging it, no phone, no book, just staring at the wall, waiting for the plane to be over. I'm not that person, but I'm trying to be more out of it. And I find my sister the other week, she did a whole week without her phone, and she said that when she was first started it, she was like, I definitely have ADHD. And by the end of it, she was like, wow, I just needed to focus, to breathe, to engage in action. If Billionaire is saying this is what you should be doing because I'm profiting off of it, and the reality is the action motivates you, then that should be a sign in itself. When you're in silence, you can be reflectant on yourself, and you can be reflectant on your attitudes, your perspectives, your ideas, and everything in between. And in that sense of light, you can also find something new, and which is something I love, but I've always kind of had a problem with because I am a big planner. Being spontaneous can breed from silence, because you're giving room to something that you don't know has any voice. It actually is just completely quiet, but it gives you room to kind of explore. And I think it says a lot when your body tries to reject silence because of how badly these platforms want you to engage in stimulation, and how social norms are regulated by other people and platforms because stimulation is at the forefront and everything else is just background noise to distract you. Also, realize with silence, it invites actually feeling your emotions. It invites actually having to confront and take accountability for the things that you have been trying to distract yourself from. And you know what? It's so bad.
Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
It feels like you're dying. Genuinely, it feels like you're dying because when something gets built up so big, you have to confront it and you have to finally be in front of it. You feel so scared and everything rushes all at once. And yeah, it's been so painful this last month because I finally actually come to that point. But once it's kind of relieving though, because you're feeling everything. You're crying so much, you're screaming, you're yelling, you're talking it over, you're writing it over, and you're feeling it. You're feeling it to work things more, hopefully in a healthy way, hopefully with a professional. And then you get through it. But you can't really do that when you're juggling so much already. It's the worst feeling ever. It is as bad as what you think. But then as soon as it's over and you start doing things and taking down all the bad stuff that used to hold you up, you have new methods and new techniques. And I've been recently learning a lot about radical acceptance. And I highly recommend, if you feel like you are unable to accept something, that you look into that. It's a DBT exercise that my therapists have been helping me with. Thank you. Shout out to my therapist. It's just such a shame with trends that sometimes people don't really care about what they're saying, or they don't really believe in what they're saying, but they're saying it because they want to feel community and they want to feel connection, when we are constantly avoiding community and connection. Don't think the silence is something is a bad thing and it's something to run away from. It's actually something that you need to hear, because also stimulation is rotting your brain. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate watching my video. And yeah, let me know if you like these videos styles. I'm still trying to figure out a little niche that you guys like. But yeah, I really appreciate your attention to the video, and subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye.